He's not ready, we can go to the other case. Well, this is another in a sequence of 4 difficult cases today. In this case, once again, Anthony Campfield is here and Autumn Kiefer had prepared this police or pre-sentence report. This is a bad case. File number is 251308FD. The defendant is here with his attorney, Paul Gibson. He originally got a ticket for reckless driving, failed to stop at an assured clear distance, rear-ended another vehicle causing multiple rollover crash. The prosecutor filed a formal complaint in the matter, which I'm glad they did. Sometimes they miss these, but this was charged as a felony, operating while intoxicated, causing a serious injury, which is a felony punishable by up to 5 years imprisonment. The defendant was also charged with operating with a high blood alcohol level. Now, the matter was set for a preliminary examination and a pre-exam conference because it is a felony. It was adjourned a couple of times, and then it resulted in a negotiated plea to the misdemeanor charge of operating with a high blood alcohol charge, with the indication they would be requesting restitution. And the felony charge was dismissed. The matter was set for sentencing today, and Ms. Kiefer did the difficult task of doing the pre-sentence in this case. The defendant was 3 times the legal limit, and people were almost killed. Mr. Gibson, what would you like me to know?
The defendant is employed by St. Joseph County Transportation. He's got a good job. He's hopeful that he can maintain his employment. And so as far as I would ask the court to consider any jail to be deferred or to be allowed to be scheduled on the weekends so the defendant can keep his job. And so this was a very unfortunate incident, but this is the first time that the defendant's been in trouble. He has no criminal history. He's 25 years old. This was obviously a very bad accident, and the defendant himself was injured in the accident. And so he knows that this was a very dangerous and very, very serious situation, and he's very remorseful for the situation. And so I'm asking the court to consider a recommendation, following a recommendation of the probation department. Thank you.
Ms. Campfield, what's your thought here?
Your Honor, I have information, photographs for the court, as well as the restitution request from Ms. Shockley, the driver of the vehicle who was struck. She is present and would also like to address the court. The court can see from the photographs that Ms. Shockley did take photographs of the injuries that she suffered. They're all over her body, on her arm, on her hips, on her legs. She had quite a severe contusion on her head, which was originally why it was charged as a felony. When we spoke with the emergency room physician, determined that that was not quite the same as an interior brain injury, although I do believe she probably had some concussive symptoms. She did take quite a bit of time off from work, which is part of the request for restitution, in addition to a lot of the items that were damaged and were unrecoverable from the vehicle. The court can see from the vehicle, the black Prius was basically crushed front and back, because once struck, Ms. Shockley did indicate to me she was hit a second time by the defendant, who had also lost control of his vehicle. In the photographs, his vehicle is the red Jeep Cherokee. Probably both vehicles were a loss. I'm not sure about the defendant's, but I know hers was a loss. She's very lucky when I look at that Prius, as is the defendant, that she wasn't more severely injured or killed.
Well, there was a third car involved in this accident.
Correct.
That took off.
It did. That was a car that once Ms. Shockley was struck by the defendant, she had sideswiped, I believe, that vehicle that was traveling next to her. One portion of the police report that I think really describes what happened is a witness by the name of Mr. Brady Slack, indicating that his father and he were in the turn lane to turn around on 131 to go toward Heimbach Road when they saw the red Jeep Grand Cherokee driven by the defendant approaching in the right lane, stating he was flying well over the speed limit. He was closing in on them at about 80 miles per hour, if not more. Brady stated that he watched the vehicle go all the way to the two vehicles ahead of him, which were close, if not side by side, stating that the red colored Jeep Grand Cherokee slammed into the vehicle on the right, being the black and colored Toyota Prius. There was no braking, no hesitation, no swerving, nothing from the red and color Jeep Grand Cherokee before striking the Prius. When that was struck, the little black vehicle was in the right lane and the black vehicle then bumped into the other vehicle that was beside it. And then the vehicle in the left lane went off the roadway to the right into a ditch and then left the scene. After being struck by the Jeep Grand Cherokee, the black passenger car struck a guardrail and the Jeep Grand Cherokee traveled farther south on down at US 131 before coming to a stop. I don't know how each of them came out of this without much more severe injuries. And frankly, the defendant's lucky that he only had a broken femur when you look at his vehicle as well. The blood alcohol level alone was a 0.24. For him to think that he was capable of driving at that level is beyond me. And with that tolerance and still being able to drive, granted, much to an inhibited degree, the defendant has a history of alcohol abuse because he would not be at that level and still on the roadway. So I think I agree with the recommendation of probation and all of the other things except for deferred jail. Because of the severity of this incident, I think the defendant needs at least 60 days of jail, and that's probably a low recommendation, but I do recognize it's his first offense. We're just, again, very fortunate that nobody died in this accident, especially when you look at the vehicles. Both of them had to be extricated from within for their medical treatment.
Ms. Shockley, you'd like to speak to me? Autumn, could you trade spots
Yep.
with her? Good morning. Would you state your name for the record, please?
Michaela Shockley.
Could you spell that for me? I've got it here, but I want to spell it for the record.
Michael with an A, Michaela. And then Shockley, ShockleY.
All right, thank you for being here. What would you like me to know?
So I have a statement that I wrote towards Mr. Martin. Over the past few months, I have thought and considered what I wanted to say to you if I ever saw you, and all I've come up with, was it worth it? By the reckless choice you made that night, you not only put your life, but multiple other lives in danger. You hit me at a ridiculous speed while I was in the right hand of the highway, in the lane of the highway, and almost killed me. By the look of my car, I should be dead. How I walked away, I have no idea. You got lucky, and I can only hope that whatever happens today and whatever sentence you are given will teach you never to do this again. It was reckless, it was stupid, and you should have known better because our entire lives we have been preached never to drive after drinking, and you chose to do so. I will never understand why people choose to drive intoxicated and risk lives. It's selfish, and I have no pity for people who have no care for the lives of others that they risk. You have no one you can blame but yourself, and I only hope your punishment is just and you never make this mistake again.
Let me ask you something. He claimed, and the person who's 3 times the legal limit is probably not in a position to have a lot of credibility to their story, that you slammed on your brakes, which caused this accident. Did you have any reason to slam on your brakes while you're simply driving down 131?
I was struck from behind.
And so you had not applied your brakes?
No. I was on my way home. I was in the right-hand lane, and I vaguely remember the black car behind me because all I was thinking about was I had Applebee's at home for dinner. I just got off an 8-hour shift of working at a grocery store. I'm a manager.
What store?
Wagner's Madawan.
Well, that's a long drive.
And I drive it every day. And I was in the right-hand lane of the highway, maintaining my speed of about 63 miles an hour, I want to say. And I had no inclination or indication that I was going to be struck from behind except for the illumination of his headlights in my cabin. And the next thing I knew is I was hit.
Here's the terse accident report language of this. It's called a UD-10 that the police officers do in an accident. And I would say the deputies here, Deputy Radke and others, did a good job in this case. And unit 1, 2, and 3 were all traveling southbound on 131. Unit 1, which would be you, Mr. Martin, was traveling at a high rate of speed when it collided with the rear end of unit 2. That would be Miss Shockley's car. Unit 2 then struck unit 3, which is the person that took off. Upon separation, unit 2 veered left, striking the guardrail and overturned. Unit 2 rolled and came to a stop in the middle of US 131, facing in a northwest direction. Unit 1, that's you, after separating from unit 2, overturned and rolled. Unit 2 came to a stop in the middle of the roadway, right into the ditch. Unit 3 drove, the other guy, drove 100 yards south through the ditch before returning to the roadway. Unit 3, being a victim, left the scene. Witnesses stated that Unit 2 was traveling at 80 miles per hour plus when it collided with the back of Unit 2, which caused Unit 2 to strike Unit 3. He claimed Unit 2 slammed on their brake, causing him to strike Unit 2. Unit 2 said she didn't have time to hit her brake. Before she knew it, her car broke as she was headed toward the guardrail. This is 131 after it has been rebuilt. There are guardrails all up and down there. There are no cross directions. The shoulders are wider. You can't cross it. You have to have Michigan left. You have to go north to go south. But we get a lot of accidents right here. I mentioned earlier our previous sheriff was involved in a 2-car rollover accident with a few miles from where this was. So you've got a lot of restitution in here, including the time you had to take off from work. Is that correct? And that was to take care of your medical issues?
I could hardly move.
Now, this was charged as a felony and it was reduced to a misdemeanor. Did anybody discuss that with you before that was done?
No, I was informed that he had pled guilty, and I was informed that there were 3 possible charges that he could have received. And honestly, I believe the felony one is the best suited one.
All right, well, what I have is this. The felony case would have sentencing guidelines attached to it. This does not.
Your Honor, can I just add one thing?
Yes.
In going over the restitution with the defendant, he had questions for me and I hadn't had, I don't know if I had gotten sent that information. So I guess I would ask for the defendant to be able to reserve the right to have a hearing on the restitution once I have an opportunity to review the.
Well, I got it this morning about somewhere when I was in the middle of my civil docket. The clerk sent it to me. All right, well, I'll consider that. Well, Ms. Shockley, has there been a lawsuit filed?
Not yet, or I don't know if my
Well,
dad.
did you made a claim with your insurance company?
Yes,
And did they pay your medical expenses and time off?
yes,
All right. And your insurance company may end up suing his insurance company before it's all done, although this is a no-fault state. And as far as I could tell, he had valid insurance in place at the time. Mr. Martin, this is not characteristic for you. As indicated, you have no previous criminal record. However, you were involved in 2 previous traffic crashes. One January of the previous year, and I don't remember when the other one was. So you're a mechanic. I think you have a CDL. You work for the county transportation department, and you almost killed yourself and several other people. So what would you like me to know?
I don't have anything to say, Your Honor.
You don't have anything to say?
I mean, I made a mistake. I know I did. I think her speech was about perfect.
All right, thank you. Ms. Shockley, who are you to Bruce Shockley?
not related.
Okay.
The closest thing I've got is my deceased grandfather, Robert Bruce.
He is a local musician and music teacher and plays in several bands and gave guitar instructions to my kids. I didn't know if you were related to
It
him.
could possibly be.
He's a good guy, so it wouldn't be a bad guy to be related to, but apparently you're different Shockley family. All right, you can have a seat. All right, Autumn, as I said, you drew this short straw. And the defendant is employed. He's going to keep his employment, presumably. If I put him in jail for 60 days as requested, he's going to lose his employment. This was a felony, reduced to a misdemeanor. However, it's a serious one. There's no perfect answer, but your recommendation is probation and some jail time, much of it deferred and some on weekends. What else would you like us to know?
Well, he was upfront and honest with me, at least from what I could tell, that he does drink alcohol on a regular basis. More than likely, my guess is we're dealing with a small alcohol issue. It was a serious incident. He told me several times that he was sorry for the incident.
He didn't tell Miss Shockley he was sorry. He had a chance to, and he had nothing to say. So
However, he did continue to question why the other vehicle in front of him slammed on brakes. So I'm not so sure he truly remembers the entire incident in its totality. So we may be dealing with a substance abuse issue that needs to be addressed, and probation will do that. He claims to me that his employer is fully aware of this incident, knows that he does not have a driver's license for the next year, and they have told him that they will maintain his employment, which, as I told him, he's pretty lucky, since my guess is being a mechanic, he'd have to drive the vans that he's fixing. But he needs a probation, he needs a huge timeout, he needs a substance abuse assessment, and I do think there should be jail ordered on weekends
I'm
to
gonna do it.
maintain employment if he's gonna have to pay back restitution.
I agree. I'm gonna do a 24-month probation, 30 days jail, credit 0. Because of his accident, he went to the hospital himself, leaving 30 days to serve. We're gonna do him on weekends. If I give him 30 days, he's gonna lose his job. He isn't gonna be able to pay any restitution. But you can't use any drugs or any alcohol. When did you have your last drink?
And the night of the accident.
All right, that's a good answer. That's the right answer. No drugs and no alcohol. This is prescribed, including marijuana. There's a $300 fine, a $75 crime victims' rights fee, $50 state minimum fee, $100 screening fee, an attorney fee of $150, probation oversight fee of $960. Police reimbursement. I thought I saw one in there. Do you have it, Miss Campfield?
One moment, please, Your Honor. I've got to get out of